You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
So happy you could join me here today. Looking forward to today's Friday review. As always, it's been a great week. I'm so excited to share with you kind of what's new, what's been happening in the practice this week. Also share a little bit about my vacation over the past week in Maine, how that went. I've got great research for you today. A little bit of in the know on how long or how old that produce actually is and some meats and fish and things like that in your grocery food store. I think you'll be shocked by that. I was. And then also, I have two product reviews. One, the first product review from a company that created a really revolutionary mushroom-based supplement that has been shown scientifically to boost the immune system. I want to share that with you. And then, of course, our super nutrient of the week. We're going to be rounding out our B vitamin family, and I can't wait to share with you one very specific one of those B vitamins. So what I want to do right now is get into the show, and that is, of course, always what's been happening over this past week. I always love to share a little bit about what's going on in our practice or kind of things that I've learned just over the past week. And a couple of things, one from a psychology-based standpoint, one from a physiology standpoint. You know, the psychology-based standpoint, it never ceases to amaze me in my life and, and everyone that I work with and chat with and, come in contact with is that we humans are very funny animals. We'll put it that way, not even mammals, but animals. And the reason is this. It's that whatever we're doing right now is typically not as good as what we could be doing. It's this very strange mindset. And then all of a sudden when we get to do that other thing that we were looking forward to doing, that isn't as exciting anymore. And then we either switch back to what we were doing or something else that we'd like to do. And that's just like something I see no matter where I am. I've just really grown accustomed to it now, but also trying to live more in the moment. So for example, last week, I'm on vacation. I'm in Maine. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year, without a doubt. And, I go away. It's my oldest daughter's birthday. It's my wife and I's anniversary. We just spend a week in Maine. We just relax. It's such a beautiful time. We love it. We always have such a great time. And so, I'm just in Maine. When I'm there, I get to just walk around barefoot. I've got this fun little garden that we're tending to. The tomatoes are growing. The peppers are growing. What do I have else this year? I've got celery for the first time this year. I've got parsley. I've got mint. I've got all sorts of great things. So I like doing all those things that I would never get to do in the city. I don't walk around barefoot in the city. And I certainly don't have a garden in my place in the city in downtown Boston as well. So it's amazing going to the beach, all those things. But then by the end of the week, I'm like, I can't wait to get back to work. I want to be working on the certification that I have coming out this fall. I want to be doing my Ayurvedic series. It's like all of these different things. And then right when I get back to work on, let's say Monday or Monday's past and I'm into Tuesday, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go whatever, like back to Maine or be on vacation. And I actually laugh at it now because, a lot of us, we fall prey to this mentality. And it's just simply like, it's always what we want, what we can't have or don't have at that moment. The grass is always greener. And I always look at it as like, I really enjoy, I have an amazing life that was just, it wasn't always that way. It wasn't. Like, it absolutely wasn't. It took work to get there. I'm not going to lie to you. It didn't happen by chance. And I'm very grateful for it, without a doubt. But I also still fall victim to like, oh, well, what about this or what about that? Where a lot of the times, where we are right now at that moment is exactly where we should be. It will lead to even greater things in the future, but it allows us to appreciate the flip side of that. For example, when I'm at work, I miss my wife, I miss my kids, I miss my family. And then when I'm with my family, and I love hanging out with them, but maybe not everyone feels this way, then I miss my work, I miss my career, I miss all the other things in my life as well. So now what I understand is like, hey, there's a time for fun, there's a time for play, and there's a time to shut it down. And that is what happens every night when I go home and I have dinner with my family and I read a book to my girls and give them bath, all those things. And then also, though, it's okay to then say, hey, I want to do my work. Like, I love that. I love my career or whatever. Again, like, so that's my thing. I'm just sharing you my thing. And so now what I've understood is like, they're both great. Like, and one of the things I need to do is always to say, you need to have both to feel complete, right? You're never going to feel complete by, a lot of people's goal would be to retire. My goal is never to be to retire. It's just to grow within this health and fitness essentially field and be able to serve more people and maybe come up with things like we're doing this fall, which I never really thought of something doing. But, we've had hundreds of people reach out saying, how can I learn this style of medicine, of natural health? And so now that's leading to certification. So what I'm saying to you right now is if you're anything like me, it's that sometimes when you're in one thing, you want to be doing the next. Appreciate in that moment what you are doing and understand that you'll be doing that other thing soon as well. So that's how I'm looking at it. I did share with you one thing that's going to lead into my research here, or a little bit of my detective work, is that my two little girls, one of them was turning 6, and my other one's 3. She'll be turning 4 this fall. We picked wild blueberries in Maine, and we went to this remote farm. Not a lot of people know about it, but you can pick berries there. And it was great. We talked with the owners for a while. There was just like wild chickens and roosters all over the place. Great, great farm. Loved it. And what we did then is just go out to the blueberry field or patch or whatever you want to call it. I'm not even sure what you call it. Let's call it a blueberry patch. And we went out, we picked tons of blueberries. Like we each had a bucket full of blueberries. So we bring them all home. We did that on Monday. It was Monday. They lasted until I left on Sunday, meaning like they weren't shriveling up. They weren't becoming dehydrated. They weren't getting mold. And my entire family found this shocking. We buy organic in my house, especially when it comes to berries and produce. And it's just something that we decide to invest in. That's just our thing. Not everyone's going to do that. I understand that. I did a podcast on the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. If you can't afford all organic, believe me, I know it's more expensive. Then you're going to go for the Clean 15 if you can't buy organic. But the Dirty Dozen, you always do want to buy organic, and especially if that includes strawberries and things like that. Well, so with the blueberries, I have to say, they lasted far longer than the ones that you would get at the grocery food store. And I'm going to share with you why in just a moment. But we use them for literally everything. We use them for smoothies. We use them to snack on. We use them to make homemade popsicles for my girls. I make my world famous amongst the 20 people that eat them on Sundays sometimes with my extended family, gluten-free, dairy-free pancakes and waffles. I love making those for the family. And people remarked at how great these things taste, and they did. They taste different than the grocery food store when you pick them wild, and they lasted longer. Here's what I found when I was doing a little bit of my research, and I want to share this with you. And I could not believe this. This is just a couple stats for you. All right. So your typical grocery food store, it could be selling bread that's old as 10 days, like when it gets fresh to you, when it gets fresh, that's in air quotes, to the grocery food store. 2-month-old beef or meat, especially if it's shipped from places like New Zealand, typically 7 to 8 days for pork, 3 to 4 days for chicken. That's how old it is before it even gets to the grocery food store. 1 month sometimes for eggs. We're not talking about local. We're just talking about regular grocery food store. Sometimes a year for shrimp. 6 months for apples because of the wax and the other things they put in them. And bananas could be 7 or 8 days. Could be 25 days if you're getting them from South America into the U.S. And when I looked in this, I found this incredible. And they're using certain types of ethylene gas. They're using certain types of plastics to wrap them so these things don't decompose. It's very unnatural. And that is why I believe that when you do get them, they get mold faster, or that there's all these waxes and buildup on them, or they're using things like sprays and gases as well to irradiate meat in order to keep it red, because meat that's a couple days old is gray. It's gray. Leave it out on your counter. It's going to turn gray. It's going to oxidize, but not if you spray it, right? So it's very interesting to me. I feel that it's a little repulsive, but again, it's like, well, what can you do? And the thing that you can do is as best you can. Not everyone can do this, but there's a lot of local farmers markets, and you can literally just go to Google. I've given out the websites before, but you can literally go to local farmers markets and then type in your city. Like, for example, I'm going to do it right now. Local farmers market Boston. And I'm sure the website will pop up because it always escapes me, every time. And then right on Google, it shows me the top 5, and there's actually 117 results. And then if I go to boston.gov, it's a bunch of things, and then it's /farmers-markets-Boston. And it goes through all the different ones. Localharvest.org, that's what I was looking for. Localharvest.org will be all of the local farmers markets in your area. Try to support them. And the reason is you're going to get better quality food, especially if you can find organic and local. Here's why I believe now that those blueberries actually lasted longer as well, that they didn't mold as easily, and that they stayed plumper longer. I believe that the way in which they're grown on these local farms, that it is organic and they're exposed to the best things in the best soil, is that they have a stronger antioxidant-based potential. This is only one of the factors, but it's one of the main ones. And those antioxidants allow it to not oxidize as quickly, not break down as quickly. And they also have their natural anti-fungicides. Now, why would local wild, or in this case, obviously farm, but they're basically wild blueberries, why would they have that level of antioxidants? The reason they'd have that level of antioxidants is that they, on their own, aren't sprayed as much. So over time, that crop needs to be stronger in order to live. So it needs to combat more oxidative nature of the sun, of whatever it might be growing out in nature, right? Fungus, animals, you name it. So I just think it's one more reason why we should be shopping local as much as we can. And so I just wanted to share that with you and a little bit of that research that I found. Okay, I also want to go over right now a product by Iogen Biologics, and it's called AHCC. Now, it's obviously not a very good name for a product, right? Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. But this is a functional medicine-based product, I believe originally developed in Japan. It includes shiitake mushrooms, and I've spoken about this before, as well as a few other mushroom blends that have been shown to clinically improve the immune system. But how does it do that? Well, it promotes the enhanced macrophage effect, T-cell activation. It improves the natural killer cells, like I just spoke about, as well, and clinically proven to increase cytokines, specifically interleukin 2 and 12, as well as increase CD4 cells and T helper cells. What do those do? Well, they help kill cancer cells, that's for one. The second is they help to kill bacteria that might be in the body as well. They help to kill, not specifically in a lot of autoimmune-based issues, let's say Hashimoto's or rheumatoid arthritis, where CD8 cells might be higher but not CD4. They help to kill some of those bacteria, or nanobacteria as it's being called right now. So if you're someone that's suffering from a weakened immune system, not imbalanced, but weakened immune system, this might be a product for you to look into. I'm going to link up to it for you. I'm going to show you the university. So this was done, University of Tokyo was one of the collaborating, I don't think that's the right way to say that, but the collaborating universities, University of Tokyo, that did the research. So what I'm going to do is link it up for you. You can do more of the research on your own. You can see how it enhances liver function. Remember, if anything's going to help your body really detoxify faster, kill bacteria in the body, kill other pathogenic-based, whether it's cancer cells, etc., it's going to be involved the liver as well. So looks like a great product. Again, it's not something that I carry in my practice. This is a specialty product. But if you're someone suffering from lowered immune system, what I want to do is share this product with you specifically. I'll link up to it today in the show notes, and I'll link up to that proprietary blend as well. So it's called AHCC. I'll link up to it today to the functional medicine website in which it is sold, and I'll put that right at stephencabral.com/910. That's today's show notes, /910. Everything will be there. All right, looks like a great product, a lot of great validity behind it. I did my research on it. I looked at also the reviews from colleagues that have used it in their practice, as well as the anecdotal evidence from people using it in the real world. Gets great results. Wanted to share that with you as well. All right, hopefully that helps, or maybe it'll be helpful for someone else that you know in your family or friends. Now, the super nutrient of the week this week, I love being able to bring you one new nutrient. We've gone through the majority of our B vitamins. Well, by going through the majority of our B vitamins, one of the reasons why I wanted to go through them one by one with you is that all of the B vitamins help with metabolism. They help with getting more oxygen into the red blood cells for energy, but they also help you to take your carbohydrates that you eat and turn those carbohydrates into energy. A lot of people suffering right now with the inability to use carbohydrates for energy. A lot of people are shifting towards a low-carb diet. This is a true sign that that person has a dysfunction potentially in lowered amounts of B vitamins. And again, you can test this with an organic acids test. It's very straightforward. You can do it. Simple urine test. Or it's someone that has blood sugar-based insensitivity or desensitization. And it's someone that's not able to properly use their food as energy. Now, should someone who's more of that kapha body type, endomorph body type that we've been talking about over the last couple weeks, eat a ton of starches? Probably not. If they're in a position right now where they're trying to lose weight. Can they have some? Absolutely. Should they have some, especially more vegetables and low glycemic blueberries like those wild blueberries? Absolutely. Those wild blueberries are something I put in my shake almost every single day. And you can download that shake absolutely for free just by going to stevencabral.com/910. The same show notes page. Simply scroll down the page. You'll see an image that says smoothie guide. That's a smoothie guide, and it contains, I believe it's a dozen smoothies that you can use for wellness or for weight loss. You can use either one depending on what your goals are. Well, the B vitamin that I'm talking about today is vitamin B2. Okay, so vitamin B2 is referred to as riboflavin. And riboflavin is one of the B vitamins that we've talked about, the B vitamin family. And B vitamins specifically, though, besides the metabolism, the oxygenation of the cells, giving energy to the body, all of those things, a deficiency of specifically vitamin B2 can lead to things like bloodshot eyes. It can lead to a burning sensation of the eyes. It can lead to crack on the outside of the lips, parched lips, inflammation in the mouth, a sore tongue. A lot of people in my practice say, oh, I have a sore tongue. Sensitivity to light. Think about what I just said. Eyes, basically mouth. Anything to do with eye, nose, and throat can be a big, big part of that as well. A lot of people with drier skin, split nails, early wrinkling or weak skin, meaning basically like dull skin. All of those things can be benefited with extra B2. Now, one other thing I'd like to say as well is that riboflavin specifically helps with the adrenal glands, chronic fatigue syndrome, adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue immunodeficiency syndrome, with cataracts, with anemia, with all of the major things that we've been talking about, again, over the last, let's say, 12 weeks, or actually more than that now with all of our super nutrients of the week, many of those specifically B vitamins. All right. Here's the reason why B vitamins are so important, is that they're water soluble. They're essential to the body. The body cannot make them on their own, and they must be gotten on a near daily basis through food or supplementation. Without them, your body is going to be what we call functionally deficient. Now, might you get a disease-based state by being low on B2? No, but you very well could end up with lower energy, adrenal-based issues, eyesight-based issues, burning of the eyes, burning of the tongue, sore tongue, cracking of the skin, wrinkles, all of those things by being functionally deficient, which means there's no disease, but you certainly see the symptoms. And that's why conventional medicine has such a difficult time with understanding all of these symptoms with people, because they're not necessarily a disease, meaning that like the wrinkling of the skin is not what they can diagnose with like autoimmune-based psoriatic arthritis, right? Which is, again, it's still just a symptom, but it's at least a symptom they can call a disease and then use some type of biologic-based drug to essentially shut down your immune system so that you no longer react to your own body. Well, is that really the smartest plan of attack? Probably not. It's kind of like, it's what we call playing peekaboo. It's like if you come off the medication, well, the symptoms come right back. But it's not actually a form of medicine. It's a form of suppression. So the body isn't necessarily getting better, but you certainly are suppressing the symptoms that you see. For some people, that's enough. It's just for me and for the way that I want to help people, I don't believe that it is. And that's because there's always a deeper reason why someone's not feeling their best. And it's just, again, not everyone wants to know the answer. I mean, many of my colleagues are MDs. Many of the MDs in my practice that come to me for health say, I would love to be able to do this in my practice, but 9 out of 10 people in a conventional medicine practice, they actually just want the medication. They don't want the lifestyle, the diet, the nutritional supplements, the sleep. They don't want those things. And that is why I do believe that we need both conventional medicine as well as natural-based medicine, whether it's naturopathic or whatever you want to call it. But the reason we need that is because there'll always be essentially two types of people. Those who, and again, not good or bad. It's not good or bad. No one's judging here. It's just some people want to get to the bottom of it and they want to live the absolute best life that they can. They want to optimize every part of their life because if they do that, they know they'll have more energy. It will lead to better relationships and better career and family, and they'll achieve all of their lifelong goals. Whereas those that are heavily medicated, well, it's going to be a very slow decline, and some people are not willing to deal with that. And so those are the people that I try to serve the best that I can. One of that is just teaching, and the teaching right now is about this thing called riboflavin, right? Well, let's tell you how to get that through whole food. Okay, so the best source, and again, I try to stay as unbiased as possible. I always give you vegan varieties. I give you pescatarian-based varieties. I give you vegetarian. I give you paleo-based varieties, okay? So the best form of essentially B vitamins, or B, at least in this case, B2, certainly for B12, would be liver. And it would be from lamb or beef or veal or turkey or chicken. The problem with eating liver is that if you get any liver, any old liver, it's so toxic. Remember, when you do something like the Dr. Cabral detox, it's essentially what we call a functional medicine liver detox. But, if we called it that, nobody would want to do it because it sounds so intense. But really what we're doing is we're helping your liver to better clean your blood, which allows you to get a lot better faster. Like, that's it. But there's so much science behind that. But we call it the Dr. Cabral detox because it probably has a little nicer ring to it than a functional medicine liver detoxification protocol. That sounds intense, but that's what you're doing. But here's the problem. The liver filters all of the toxins in your body. That's why something like the Dr. Cabral detox actually has so much science behind it, because the liver cleans the body faster, but it pulls out all the toxins, and then we help you remove them faster from your body, doing something like the intestinal cleanse or whatever it might be. But if you get the liver from a cow that has been fed antibiotics, pumped full of hormones such as growth hormone, bovine, recumbent hormone, I mispronounced that, but you know what I mean, estrogen, they're being fed things like corn and soy and grain, very unnatural for their body. Well, that liver's toxic. You're then eating those toxins. If you're going to eat liver, it should be from a grass-fed or pasture-raised animal, and it should be local so that you can actually speak with your farmer. Now, there are other ways to get this, okay? Organ meat in general, you can get it from mollusks, you can get it from almonds, you can get it from grass-fed beef or lamb. Most lamb is naturally grass-fed. But again, if you're getting it from New Zealand, is it 2 months old? If that stat, which it seems to be because I've looked in a few places, it takes a while to get that meat to America and other places. It's very, very interesting. Mackerel, eggs are a good source. Fermented soy, as in tempeh, but again, that should be non-GMO if you do have it. Organic goat cheese. And I would say organic goat cheese, let's go with more like a pasture-raised goat, where if you're going to get that goat cheese. Tahini, sesame paste, very little, but still in there. And one of the best sources, vegan-based variety, spoke about this last week. So if you want to know where to get your best seaweed, check it out last Friday on iodine. That was our super nutrient of the week, why it's so important. Seaweed, 1 cup of seaweed, really good source in order for you to get your B2 if you are vegan. All right. Where else can you get it? Well, you can also get it from nutritional supplements. So our daily nutritional support shake provides all of the vitamin B2 that you need every single day, just in the daily nutritional support. Same with the daily activated multivitamin. And then for an extra dose of vitamin B, all the B complex family, you can use the activated B complex, which I don't know when you might be listening to this, but at least for the beginning of August in 2018, we're giving all of our bottles that we have away for free. I believe we have 500 bottles as our gift for orders at equilibriumnutrition.com. Obviously, you can check that out if you listen in the future. It won't be available, but I'm just telling you how you can get that, obviously, if you're looking for the supplement version to give you a boost, which is what we use in our practice all the time. 1 capsule at lunch, all you need, in addition to that daily nutritional support. Now, you have your great food sources to get it from as well. And what I would like to say is that most people do see a difference within about 3 to 4 weeks. The reason why they see a difference that quickly is that this is water soluble, can get in your blood right away, and can start to get into the cells. Now, you'll get tremendous benefit, though, after about 12 to 16 weeks after all of those red blood cells have turned over, because the factors needed for greater oxygenation of the red blood cells, yes, it comes from vitamin C, and it comes from iron, and it comes from some magnesium, and it comes from some copper, but those B vitamins, B2 being one of them, B12, folate, others, help with transporting oxygen into the cells and helps to mobilize iron. So many people that are anemic are always talking about iron, iron, iron. here's the deal. If you get an iron infusion, if you take iron without the B vitamins, you're still not going to be able to get that iron to hold and stick, which is why people have to go for infusion after infusion. And don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating iron infusions. Here's why. Iron infusions are typically with synthetic iron. Actually, 100% of the time they are. When that happens, you are putting a heavy metal into your body that creates massive free radical damage. I understand some people need that due to life-threatening based issues. Okay, understood. For the rest of the people looking to get iron, get those B vitamins going. Get your vitamin C up. Get all of the cofactors that help to mobilize iron. So yes, you're going to include your dark leafy greens, which have all of your B vitamins as well, and also iron. Spinach, as we know, that's one of the main ones. Spinach is a great one. But what about beets? Like, there's other ones as well. Check out my podcast on anemia. Check out my podcast on low iron. Just go to stevencabral.com/podcast. There's a search bar. Literally, that search bar will allow you to check back on all 910 podcasts for other information on this topic. It's so important, but I can't cover anemia in depth right now. Okay. Boosts energy levels, helps defend against oxidation, which can in turn then help with certain types of cancer, namely colorectal cancer, esophageal cancer, cervical cancer, and prostate cancer. B vitamins work. Not only do they work, they're essential for the human body. And that's why, when I talk about my love for nutritional supplements, is because B vitamins, specifically this type of activated B vitamin that I'm talking about right now and that I've been promoting for such a long time, is one of the things that I started taking right away, probably around 19 years old, that made a dramatic difference. I was just so low on B vitamins in general. Here's why. Because I was so stressed as a teenager and, that type A and all of those different things. And I was relationships in high school. And then I was playing 3 sports and burning through my B vitamins. Because remember, B vitamins are a buffer to stress, right? They buffer stress. Well, the more stress you have, the more B vitamins you need. That's how it works. You need to create balance in life. It's all about balance. And so what happened was, under a lot of stress, taking SATs, applying to college, like life's changing completely, all those different things, right? I could go on and on. Well, I didn't have the buffer anymore. So when I started doing things like vitamin C and the B vitamins and, kind of simple things, but I was so depleted that when I started taking those things, I got that energy back. I got a little bit less brain fog. It was remarkable. So hopefully this information is helpful. You can always get it through whole food. You can do it through supplementation. You can do it through both whole food and supplementation, which is what I preach as well, because why not, right? You can take not a huge dose, 50 milligrams a day, add an extra 50 milligrams if you want with the activated B complex. It's going to be a great amount. It's not going to be a too big amount, which is just enough to give your body what it needs. And if you're using something like the activated B complex on top of your daily nutritional support, maybe you only do that for 3 to 4 months, enough to keep building up those stores, start to feel good. And then maybe you try to come off. You try to wean off. If you still feel good, well, then you're good to go. Maybe you just take an activated B complex like I do after I built up my stores during times of higher stress, right? I'll take it after the summer's over, maybe for like this September when I get ramped up with our certification, all the great things we're going to be doing, trying to teach others. And then maybe I'll take it more around the January 1st time of the year, whatever might be your holidays when there might be less sleep. So you can use a supplement how it's meant to be used, and that's a supplement based on your life, right? More stress. Don't pretend like you don't have stress in your life. When you have a lot of stress in your life, do the things that buffer stress. So hopefully today's podcast was helpful. Really appreciate you tuning in. A lot of fun for me to be able to share this information with you. If it was helpful, always, as I say, please do try to pay it forward. Pass it along to anyone you believe it could serve. Take care and be sure to tune back tomorrow for our host calls where we answer our community's questions each and every weekend. Take care, everyone. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stevencabral.com/resources.